Fee fi fo fum. Shout out to Bogdan Dinu in the Element group. He cracked me up when he said that about Makhmudov. Fee fi fo fum. He does have that look about him. And in fact, on a random one, he also looks like Isaac Lowe, strangely. Doesn't he look like Isaac Lowe, like his big scary brother or something? Anyway, Makhmudov was on action, or in action, should I say, on the weekend on the Jared Anderson Charles Martin undercard. He fought a Nigerian heavyweight called Raphael Akpejiori. Now, I think I did a preview of this fight, and I looked at Akpejiori's record, I looked at a couple of his performances, and to me, this looked like a one-sided fight in the making. Right? Akpejiori, not much of an amateur background, only fought pies as a professional. Yeah, he looks the part. He's 6'8" and sculpted and athletic and all this. But in terms of his boxing ability, it leaves a lot to be desired. Makhmudov knew that, and he went about the fight accordingly. Not that he would have went about it much differently, even if he was in there against a more experienced fighter, because Makhmudov is a bulldozer. That's just what he does. He comes forward and he has a go and he clubs away with heavy shots and usually gets you out of there. He has been extended before. Makhmudov, when he fought Carlos Takam, that fight went the distance over 10. He did beat Jonathan Rice, TKO'd him in 7 back in 2019. And Marius Wack, he was the first person to actually floor Marius Wack in Wack's entire career. So those guys were actually a better caliber opponent than Raphael Akpejiori. This was a step down for Makhmudov. Not saying it was his fault, but this was a step down for him. An easy opponent. He went in there and rushed him, started clubbing away with big punches. Akpejiori, because he's so tall and big arms and stuff like that, was able to block some of the shots that were coming around the side and through the middle. So Makhmudov switched it to uppercuts very well. Started hitting this guy. His legs were doing a Fred Astaire, tap dancing all over the place, Akpejiori. And in the second round, that's all she wrote. Arslanbek Makhmudov is an interesting addition to the heavyweight division. He's now 17-0, 16 KOs. Russian fighter based in Canada. 6'5.5", 34 years of age. So now is the time for them to make a run at the heavyweight title. He's got an extensive amateur background as well, Makhmudov. So there's no need to be waiting or anything like that. They don't have time to wait when a guy's 34 years of age. Need to get a move on and make their title run now. Presumably that's what they're trying to do. He's ranked quite highly in most of the sanctioning bodies. I think he's top 5 in at least one of them. So yeah, I think that he could pose problems to some of the more well-known heavyweights out there. Maybe beat some of them with that strength, with that bullishness, the ruggedness. Yeah, he's not the most polished fighter you've ever seen, but he has a heavy-handedness about him, which, in fact, I'm going to say something that some people might agree with now, but I would have said it prior to this person's loss. Makhmudov is what they acted like Joe Joyce was. Makhmudov hits a lot harder than Joe Joyce from what I've seen and in my opinion. Joe Joyce is heavy-handed, yes, but he's not really a serious puncher. Makhmudov is a much more serious puncher. Now, I would say that Joe Joyce is actually technically a bit better than Makhmudov. When Joyce wants to get up on his toes and box, like he did against Daniel Dubois, I can't imagine Makhmudov being able to do that. Right? So he is a bit more rugged and raw in terms of his technique than Joe Joyce, but the way he can just bulldoze people, I think, is superior to what Joyce can do when he just wants to bulldoze. Because as I say, I think Makhmudov hits a lot harder than Joe Joyce. In terms of his punch resistance, I don't know. Makhmudov hasn't been hit, from what I've seen in any of his pro fights, hard enough for us to know anything about his chin. In that regard, I'm not saying that he's superior to Joyce, but in terms of punching power and just brute force, like a bulldozer, I think Makhmudov edges Joyce in that department. I have to give another shout out to Bogdan Dinu. This isn't the real Bogdan Dinu, by the way. This is a guy who just uses Bogdan Dinu as his name in our Element chat group. But he told me to watch out for Makhmudov's neck twitch. And it's kind of weird. I've never really noticed his neck twitch before. Maybe I wasn't paying close enough attention. I never really noticed his neck twitch before. But since Bogdan Dinu mentioned it, I went and watched the Akpejiori fight, and he's constantly twitching his neck. And obviously it reminds me of Mike Tyson, because Mike Tyson used to twitch his neck like that. Not as often as Makhmudov does it, because Makhmudov does it just constantly. It's the strangest thing, constantly twitching his neck. But yeah, Mike Tyson used to do that same neck twitch. Now, the reason Mike Tyson used to have that neck twitch is because he used to do something they call neck rolls. I'm not going to try and describe it to you, but you can go online, look up Mike Tyson neck rolls, and you'll see it for yourself. And this is something that I tried, being a fan of Mike Tyson when I was a young amateur. I was trying to do neck rolls and all this kind of stuff. Is Makhmudov also a fan of Mike Tyson? Has he got this neck roll thing from Tyson? And Tyson wasn't the one who invented neck rolls. Neck rolls go back much, much earlier than Mike Tyson. He got it from fighters that he was watching because Costamato and Jimmy Jacobs and all these handlers of Mike Tyson had a massive collection of old fight films and training footage and stuff like that. And so neck rolls were something that some of the older fighters used to practice. Quite a dangerous exercise, really. So do it with caution. And Mike Tyson apparently damaged his neck doing neck rolls. And that's one of the reasons he used to twitch his neck. Because the neck rolls messed his neck up and he's always twitching. He'd usually twitch after he knocks somebody down, but sometimes in the middle of a round, his neck will be twitching back and forth. Not sure why Frank Warren's neck twitches. Can't imagine he's been doing any neck rolls. He does shoulder rolls a lot, Frank Warren, but he also twitches his neck. Anyway, maybe Makhmudov's a fan of Mike Tyson and he's either just copied the idiosyncrasy from watching so much Mike Tyson, or he's been doing neck rolls himself. Old fee fi fo fum. But he doesn't need a club in the ring because his hands are like clubs. Old fee fi fo fum. So I'll leave it there. Let me know what you guys think about Isaac Lowe's big brother, Arslanbek Makhmudov, dangerous heavyweight, and a fun addition to the division.